Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today, wherever you are in this great world. We're going to talk about XRP. And I got to start with this from Cointelegraph. Latest, Stand With Crypto is surveying U.S. candidates on their crypto positions ahead of the 2026 midterms, and the results could determine which politicians the industry backs next. You know, we made a difference in the 2024 election, the presidential election. I think crypto holders and a person's stance on crypto is going to determine whether or not they get elected in the midterms. So we're going to see a lot more come from Stand With Crypto. They're going to be telling us which candidates are pro-crypto leading into the 2026 midterms. And I really like the idea of that. 5,000 XRP could be worth $1.53 million if XRP reached the value of US M1 money supply. So the US M1 money supply is standing at $18.45 trillion in January 2025. How would XRP's market cap get to $18.45 trillion? Well, they're talking about scarcity here and all the XRP being locked away. When could that possibly happen, though? This article claims possibly by January 2040. If it's going to happen, I think it's going to happen a lot sooner. I still believe we are going to see mass adoption by 2028. I think a lot of XRP treasury companies are going to continue to pop up all throughout 2026. Then you calculate in the ETF inflows, Flare locking away 5% of the supply. Other companies are going to have to create treasuries because every single company out there is going to be tokenizing assets. So they're going to want to hold some XRP on the sidelines so that they can move those tokenized assets from one place to another. But it's too hard to say exactly when this is going to happen. We got to watch where XRP goes from here. XRP could soon be included in state treasuries across the United States. Take a listen to this.
You signed two bills this year. So then, of course, you've got the New York operations up there trying to allow state agencies to accept cryptocurrencies. So that would be something. Is this a growing thing at the state level? Can you share anything?
It's a movement. I think every state is sitting there and seeing there are benefits to digital assets, whether we issue municipal bonds backed by
Yeah.
Bitcoin, like we saw in New Hampshire, or we issue licensing bills to provide clarity that the federal government is not providing right now to token issuers or to platforms. There is a growing interest at the state level to become hubs for digital asset
Yeah.
companies. They are viewing this like it was the dot-com boom of the early 2000s, that every state in the country wanted to find a way to bring in talent that were helping develop and build the internet. We're seeing it now on the digital asset side. It is just the next wave, this Web3 wave. So I think this is just the beginning. I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking next year and all 50 states have signed digital asset bills, especially as the federal government slow walks a lot of the regulatory progress that we want and that we are pushing for. We're seeing a lot from the agencies and the administration, but Congress is slow, as we just alluded to at the top of the conversation. I think every state's going to get involved. We just actually at the Digital Chamber launched the Digital State Network to be more active in the states. Our member companies that we represent are demanding it. They want to go into the state houses. They feel comfortable with what's going in Washington. They want to have conversation with governors, with state elected officials. And so we will be very active in all 50 states next year.
So imagine now we have states holding crypto as well, locking it away in treasuries. That could also play a very big role when it comes to XRP. This comes from Mr. Man. Reese has been going off for the past few days now. Fact after fact. Keep bringing the fire. Reese Merrick from Ripple says 92% of the world's banks still don't have direct SWIFT access for USD payouts. That means slower settlements, trapped liquidity, and corresponding fees eating away at their margins. USD stablecoins are not just cheaper and faster, they are often the only reliable way to move USD internationally. Matt Hamilton says, yep, annoys me that trying to get a payment from Barbados to my USD account in Singapore, and it has to go via intermediary in the USA, then reject it for some reason. I have no idea why. Reese says, madness, isn't it? We're also reliant on a correspondent banking system created in the 1970s. This is why Ripple is going to emerge and take a lot of Swift's business out of the gate, because most of the banks, most of the people that use this system, they are already looking for an alternative. I always said Swift might have 11,000 customers, but they're very unhappy customers. And the fact that you're going to see bank after bank and customer after customer switch over to the Ripple system, that's going to make XRP holders rich in the end. Ripple co-founder Chris Larsen on working with institutions and banks as a crypto firm for cross-border payments. Don't mix politics and technology. Everybody understands this is the missing link in globalization. I already said multiple times in the past that we are pushing towards globalization. One world regulations, one world government, and so on. But it goes even deeper than that. When it comes to XRP, this is a global event that's happening. An entirely new financial system is already pushing forward. And it is going to be a global event as this new financial system finally rolls out and goes live. But Chris Larsen was telling us that this was coming years ago. Only certain people paid attention to what he was saying. Operation Chokepoint 2.0 regrettably lives on. Policies like JP Morgan's undermine confidence in traditional banks and send the digital asset industry overseas. It's past time we put Operation Chokepoint 2.0 to rest to make America the digital asset capital of the world. JP Morgan Chase ends banking ties with Strike CEO, rekindling crypto debanking concerns. Now, this happened to Jack Mallers. And me personally, I'm not a fan of Jack Mallers. He pushes that Bitcoin narrative all day long. And I always said, when something finally breaks and Bitcoin comes crashing down, Michael Saylor's going to be gone, Jack Mallers going to be gone. But this still does not give JP Morgan the right to cut banking away from Strike CEO. That's what it comes down to. It doesn't matter. JP Morgan is fighting the crypto space, and they're still trying to push forward with Operation Chokepoint 2.0. That needs to finally be put to rest. You know, they should be fined for debanking people that are involved in crypto. For years, the Bitcoin maxis called XRP the banker's coin. They are just now realizing who their real enemy is. If only they had listened. We screamed it from the rooftops for years. And you see, this is on German TV. JP Morgan, they hold a large stake in Ethereum, in the Ethereum Foundation. We knew that all along. We already knew that JP Morgan was the one fighting the Bitcoin maxis, not XRP holders. I'll see your MicroStrategy and raise you a Ripple. Right here is why Ripple will not be doing an IPO anytime soon. Take a listen.
That led to a pretty organic conversation with the folks at Ripple of saying, well, what if we did this deal? What if we put our balance sheet? And when you look at Ripple's balance sheet, it is tremendous. It is one of the largest balance sheets in capital markets, let alone digital assets. And so from Hidden Road's perspective, the selfish side of it is, well, we've launched these businesses and need a balance sheet. Ripple solves that. We're very much in the digital asset space. They're a digital asset market infrastructure, modernizing financial technology. Like, the synergies are there.
And that's why Ripple will not have an IPO anytime soon, because their balance sheet is absolutely phenomenal. We're going to see more Ripple acquisitions along the way. What Ripple is doing is, when they see a company that might be struggling a little bit, Ripple comes in and they say, well, listen, we will acquire you, but we want to keep you in charge of Hidden Road. We want to keep you in charge at Medico, and so on. We just want you to become part of the Ripple family. And that's what's been going on. And along the way, Ripple's becoming very well-rounded, and they're bringing more and more utility to XRP at the same time. RLUSD yield coming soon. Join Soil XRP Ledger to get rewards. So Soil is bringing yield to RLUSD. The one thing I like about earning from RLUSD is a lot of people are about to take profit on their crypto. Once XRP really breaks out and hits some crazy price points, people are going to take profit. Some people are going to sell their entire bag. And I always said, why send that money to the bank? Why not just hold it in a stable coin and earn yield off of that stable coin? To me, that seems like the much better option. This way you could still spend RLUSD, but what's sitting there in the account, it's just gaining more and more value through yield. But however, I gotta warn you, you see, 8% APR. That's gonna come with risk. They even show it here. 5% APR, lower risk, high liquidity exposure. And then you have a 7% option over there. I think 4% yield would come with very little risk. So why not just cash out your XRP, whatever you plan to take for profit, get an Uphold debit card and shop with your RLUSD and then earn yield along the way. That to me seems like a much better option than cashing out into US dollars. Because let's face it, the US dollar continues to lose more and more value. San Francisco crypto wrench attack victim loses $11 million to fake delivery driver. I'm not even going to go through this article. What I'm going to tell you is this. People need to stop talking about how much crypto they are holding on a daily basis all over X. And definitely don't do it in the comment section down below. You are making yourself a target when you're talking about your crypto holdings. This is nothing new. We've seen this going on everywhere, all around the world. It's happening overseas. It's happening here in the United States. People like to get the plate put on their car that says XRP or Bitcoin or whatever. Why would you do that? Why not just keep it to yourself? You're about to make a shit ton of money in this space. Don't talk about it. Don't make yourself a future victim. You know, I care about every single one of you. I want all of you to get financial freedom. I definitely don't want to see you lose your crypto to scams. I don't want to see you fall for something that's too good to be true. And I definitely do not want to see you become a victim like we see time and time again. Keep your crypto holdings to yourself. Even if you make $1 million off of your crypto, don't rush out and post it all over social media. People pay attention to that. It's the same reason I don't show my face in videos. I know what I hold. I think the Bearable Bull years ago, when he said it's not smart to be all over YouTube talking about crypto, letting people know who you are going to become a future victim. Don't post your holdings. I stress that. And until it all happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.